We unlike us to have some tech issues, mate, but
Well, we've had a few,
over the years,
yeah. But I think this will be okay now. It's lasted longer than it did
it
before.
certainly has. Let me just check if we're live.
Half of me is tempted just to kind of make some stuff up to panic Zach.
Because Zach is managing the stream. Yeah, just seeing if we're coming through live. Just wait for our first people to comment.
Here we go.
Awesome.
Stevie O.
Hey, Steve Oram, how you doing? Long time no see. Nice to see you on the live. If you are joining us, and your name is not Evertrack, isn't it?
Yeah.
Evertrackers. Great to see who's on. Great that me and Dave are back. I know we had another
Yeah,
week
it's
off
back.
last
It's
week.
been the rumors are going to come around. That we're not as
We're
dedicated
part-timers now,
as
right?
before. But that's not the case. Whenever we're not on the TTI, we're certainly not gallivanting.
It's very true.
But no, it's great. I think we're already spotting some new names as well. I wonder why that is.
I wonder why, Dave. I wonder why.
Right at the top of the show, hello to everyone old and new. This is the Tuesday tune-in.
Yeah.
It's taken me like 3 years to not say tune-in Tuesday.
I've noticed you got it right.
I got it right a few times. We go live 12:30 every Tuesday. So I know everybody that's new here is going to stick around for the next weeks, months, and years, not just for this one particular show.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, welcome. Nice to see Angus. Who else we got? We got Matthew, Ness. We got Stephanie, Lilibel. We got Charlie, Simon, Grace. Awesome. Great to see lots of new faces.
Yeah.
As Dave said, we're going to talk about the Everest Base Camp competition. Thanks to everyone that got involved. It was very, very popular. Jerome, phone charge, strong coffee, paracetamol. 15 kgs all packed. He's just born ready. Born ready.
Why does he need hearing aids though?
I don't know.
No, he doesn't need hearing aids.
I think he can hear as well.
Nah, he's like 32, Jerome, isn't he, or something like that?
We got the Everest Base Camp competition now. In about kind of half hour, we'll be doing the winner announcement for that. Well, obviously, because we're talking about Everest, we're going to talk all about that today.
Yeah.
Whilst we're doing the competition, because it's where we started.
Yeah.
8 years ago, when Evertrack was created. I know a lot of you have probably heard this story already, but for anyone new, we always like to give a bit of an intro about what Evertrack is, how we started, and then what we kind of do now. And essentially, just to go all the way back, Dave, to 2016.
Yeah.
I remember coming back from Nepal, loving it, absolutely loving it. Come back, and it was something that I wanted to help other people do. And I came back, and someone dropped me a message.
Well, yeah, it was convenient. So when you went over, we historically, if we're gonna head down that sepia-toned memory lane,
I like sepia tone.
Yeah, I like sepia tone. Yeah, we used to work together in corporate finance.
Exciting.
Wasn't very adventurous unless you're really excited.
Only outside work, right?
Yeah. And then I think as times do, we moved about in different jobs, but kind of stayed in touch loosely on Facebook. I saw that Andy had been trekking to Everest Base Camp. Now, I had always wanted to do it, but we never got around to discussing it. There was too much Lord of the Rings and spreadsheets happening.
Very true.
Yeah, so we covered off pretty much the whole Tolkien legendarium.
Yeah, we did.
But we never discussed Everest Base Camp, Nepal, the history of climbing on Everest, mountaineering, anything like that. So I was really shocked when I'd been thinking about it for years, and I saw you were over there. And I just sent him a message, and I think it's probably still on your Facebook feed. Just a little message saying like, "Hey mate, how's it going? When you get back, any chance we can catch up and have a chat about it?" And that's when you revealed to me this sort of grand plan for what you wanted to achieve, and it was kind of like perfect, wasn't it?
Well, you were like, "Yes, I'm in."
Yeah, well, yeah. So that's it. Yeah,
customer zero.
Yeah, I was customer zero. So it's all my fault.
It is all your fault, baby.
Yeah.
It's all your fault. No, it's very different these days. We got a lot bigger team here in the UK, but we've got a fantastic community of Evertrackers now who come to places like Everest Base Camp, Machu Picchu, Kilimanjaro, Toubkal, Tour de Mont Blanc here in Europe. There's so many trips that we're privileged to kind of help really prepare people for. And that's what this came from. So the Tuesday Tune-In, which is what this is today, we started 4 years ago, almost 4.5 years ago now, back in 2020.
Has it been that long?
It's been that long.
Wow.
It's mad, mate, isn't it?
Every
Absolutely
hour.
crazy.
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday. Well, most of them, unless we're away.
I think about every hour I've spent on a Tuesday tune-in. Imagine if I'd spent that time in the gym. What I'd be right now. I'd be giving like Killian Jornet a run for his money.
You would.
But then you guys wouldn't have got all the, many. It's got to be days and days worth of entertainment.
Well, yeah, it's essentially this. We've always started this to answer questions. Everyone's got questions about trips. How difficult is it? How fit do I need to be? What's the food like? Even all the way to, what's the toilet situation? It's there's a lot of things you got to think about when you're going on certain trips, like an Everest Base Camp trek or Kilimanjaro trek or anything at all. I know today we'll primarily talk about Nepal, but any questions, just put them in the comments. Me and Dave will hopefully answer them. Obviously myself and Dave both been to Everest Base Camp. I've done it 5 times.
Yeah.
You've been there 4 times?
4 times, yeah.
Yeah, over the last kind of several years. So, when it comes to Nepal and trekking, we talk from our own experiences and also as well from our community of Evertrekkers. And, we take literally, thousands of people to places like Everest Base Camp. So, yeah, we kind of almost want to impart some of their learnings on anyone that's watching, really.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here.
No, 100%. And the Tuesday tune-in, when we first started, it was I don't think we ever envisaged it would become like a permanent part of. I need a drink of water.
Cough it up, Dave.
A permanent part of everything that we do. But actually, we really enjoy it, and we always think, sometimes, we get tons of people watching, like today. Others days we might not get so many.
Yeah.
But I always think to myself, what, if just one person every Tuesday, or even, once a month, there's just one person that catches up with this on YouTube or whatever, and if they don't get an exact golden nugget out of it, I always wondered that, but sometimes it's broader than that. Some people wonder if they're the type of person that can go on these types of adventures, or is it something that just the ultra fit athletes do? When you're sort of and this is what sort of Evertrek did for me way back when, before I worked for Evertrek and I was customer zero. Yeah, I think my world was quite narrow, and all the adventures that I experienced were through television. And I wasn't actually, I did wonder, am I ever the type that'll sort of walk the Himalaya or hike through the Atlas Mountains, or, summit some high peak somewhere? And I wasn't. That wasn't until I just, I took a chance and decided that I was going to sort of engage with this world and realize that actually, genuinely, anybody can do it.
Exactly. Of course.
It's all up there. And, you've got to, you've got to take the risk or lose the chance. Sometimes.
Well, it's one of those. You said everybody, and we get all walks of life on our trips. Some people are super fit, some people not so. Obviously, the fitter you are, the more enjoyable it'll be. I know certainly a lot of Evertrekkers who have not been quite as fit as they want to be when it comes to the trek, but they've battled, they've dug deep, they've put the miles in already, but they just might not be as lean or as fit as some people. But certainly for us, we always push everyone who takes on a challenge like Everest Base Camp.
Yeah.
To put the miles in, definitely do stuff before you go. The more you do before, you'll just have a better time.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a biggie when it comes to it. And I see some things here, like Matt Toffrey there. People complete the EBC for charity. Not as many people as you think. Like it depends on the reasons what you want to do it. I mean, some people, they do it for themselves. Maybe they've got like a personal challenge. Some people do it for charity, which is awesome. Some people just do it. It's something maybe they've lost a loved one.
Yeah.
I know myself when I went to Everest Base Camp, it was something that, because I'm an asthmatic, I wanted to kind of prove to myself I can go to somewhere like that, and I found when I was there that I could do it.
Yeah.
And it was safe to do it. And for me then, so I was proving something to myself. It was a place I'd always wanted to go to visit as well. And obviously lucky now and fortunate really to go and see the beauty in Nepal and the people and meet some amazing other trekkers as well. Like a big part of it, we always talk about what's our favorite thing. A big part of what I love is the group stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely, like meeting people and especially all walks of life, and that you make friends for life.
No, 100%. And I think it is an interesting one when people, because one of the interesting things about this job, and there are many, is that you do get to meet hundreds and thousands of people, not hundreds of thousands, but hundreds and thousands of people who want to do this. And actually motivation is key, but it's very individual and very different. certainly, you know, there are some people that want to take on the challenge. The type of people I call it like that marathon mindset. You know, they want to run marathons, they want to do an ultraman, they want to do a triathlon, and they want to test themselves against high altitude and reach, you know, something they never thought they would be able to do. And then other people, it is about a milestone to serve as a fundraising platform. You know, I think for me, my motivation when I was down there was, I think more, at least for me, it was strange having not been there. However, it felt nostalgic because I'd learned and watched so much about it throughout so many of my upbringing that for me it felt like it was almost like nostalgia going there. You know, but in a strange way. And it was kind of more, I don't know whether you'd call it romantic or whatever, but it was more like I wanted to feel like an explorer, and I wanted to feel like, you know, I got to the Himalaya and I'd achieved something, but I also wanted to do it in the right way. You know, I didn't want to just fly there and land in a helicopter, and I wanted to work with the local people and stuff like that. And that's why I think, you know, Evertrek did suddenly just erupt, was because we had that idea, but it was backed by all the right things, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a big part of it, you know, obviously we want to help individuals. Like we come back here to the UK, and you know, we have customers from worldwide now, which is amazing. You know, but primarily we came back and we wanted to not only help the people but help the local communities. Like I saw a question, I think someone mentioned about, like, you know, how do you feel about running trips to places like Everest Base Camp, you know, and regarding ethical reasons, maybe not traveling. And one of the reasons actually I is a big part of it is that we bring a lot of tourism to Nepal. Now, obviously, there's a lot of opinions around the summit, which is a totally different thing to the trekking world. Trekking to EBC is such an amazing journey, and you pass through villages, and you pass through communities of people that are, you know, a big part of tourism and their survival is us traveling there. So yeah, absolutely. Obviously, you got the environmental stuff as well. It's great that you bring that up. You know, we always encourage, especially, you know, our trekkers who come with us, around, you know, you're visiting somewhere that's precious, that, you know, is, you know, you don't want to destroy a place you visit. It's like anywhere you go in the world. And you know, we do take part in certain sustainable practices out there, like this Carry Your Back campaign, which you know, people carry a bit of rubbish down, so the trekkers as well, you can do that. We introduced water filters back in 2019, so people don't have to buy plastic bottled water. There are some places that you still have to, just because of hygiene. Which, you know, obviously we want to eradicate it completely. But if you're in a really remote part of the world and you need water, and especially at altitude, you want to, you know, drink as much water as you can. You know, 3-4 liters a day, because your body's working overdrive. You know, although there's not running water there, you have to get bottled water. So yeah, there are certain ways that, you know, you can limit the environmental stuff, which is massive, and we're all very conscious of that. We always, you know, and I think a lot of trekking companies now are taking ownership of that, which is great, because you're right, we've got a responsibility. We do travel there, but then you can do it in the right way. So we encourage all of our Evertrekkers to kind of come along with that ethos in mind. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that was Denali, which is a great name, by the way. It sounds like you were born,
I know, I was going to say,
literally born to be in the mountains.
Definitely.
But yeah, no, and you're right as well to mention, obviously, there is a lot of discourse talked about and, you know, put out there in the press when it comes to sort of Everest. Everest is a magnet for a lot of controversy, because it is the biggest mountain on the world. You know, there are other peaks that are actually more dangerous, that are still commercially guided. But Everest being the biggest, obviously, the biggest spotlight is on Everest. And I think the main thing to realize is that what we do is we trek to Everest Base Camp. We don't step foot on the mountain itself. And we try and do it as conscientiously as we can with regards to the environment, but also the people as well. So we don't, a lot of other companies that do run, you know, really decent trips, run sort of a Western leader. So someone like myself or Andy would go on the trip and actually be the one that leads the group to base camp, where we feel that's a relatively, at least in Everest Base Camp's concern, inauthentic way to do it, because all the expertise is in the country. So every single person that we work with is Nepalese, you know, from the drivers, the chefs, the porters, the guides, the hotel staff, everybody is there. So we want to spread the benefit of this tourism and this adventurous lifestyle to those people that actually make it happen. And you said about the people in the villages as well, and they want people to visit. and they're incredibly friendly and engaging. And if we're respectful to their land as well, and give people an awesome time, then in my mind there's very little negative to say about it.
Yeah, exactly. And some really good questions as well, and we will come on to a lot of them. We're just kind of picking them up as we
I was going to say, we've got so many cues coming in,
which is really good. Some of them mentioned about how the flight times, unpredictable weather. I think that was from Dorji Snell. And I think with flight times, when you arrive in Kathmandu, when you book with us, or if you win today, you never know, you might you upload your flight details, and we obviously pick you up. With delays and things like that, Lukla Airport, which is on the Everest Base Camp route, it is. Is from a safety perspective, if there are any issues, obviously there are sometimes delays. Very rare, but in certain times of the year it can happen. You're going to see a nice little hand come out.
Actually, well,
I was going to say, is this the giant hand?
Just FYI, Zach, who's actually running the setup for us, has alerted us to the fact that there may be some focus issues.
I was going to say, I was thinking, is that me?
So just listen to the sound of our voice, if that's where it is.
It's all good. Cheers, Zach.
But
there we go.
Actually,
that's good. That's better, I think.
Yeah. So there's a really interesting question here as well. I mean, should we save them and actually dive into them when we're into them?
Yeah. It was just literally that one around the weather stuff, because we can come back to it later. Yeah. But certainly with weather in Lukla, it's one of the things on people's mind. I mean, some people book a day or two afterwards, which covers it. But we'd say less than 10% of the time there's any delays in Lukla. That being said, though, we've both been stuck there times before.
Honestly, it's part and parcel of what happens. Yeah. The Lukla has a lot of reputation. If you Google it, you'll see a lot of claims made about Lukla, the most dangerous airport in the world. Cheers, and things like that. In reality, it's very safe, and one of the reasons why it's very safe is because they take zero risk with regards to flights in poor weather, poor conditions, whatever. That does involve in the odd delay. Now, the vast majority of flights go on time, but because there's quite a few delays as well. I mean, these planes, it makes Heathrow look like an empty bus stop. They're landing and going every 10 minutes all the time.
Yeah.
So some of them get delayed. Now, a minimum of 24 hours will give you just a nice little bit of a comfort zone, but it's one of the things you've got to be willing to sort of roll with the punches with when you come to the Himalaya. The weather doesn't play ball in Wales.
I know. Well, we got a training weekend in Snowdonia this weekend. It should be fun.
Yeah, no. So it's a summer trip. It's in Snowdonia, so pack for wet weather gear. I think is the
definitely pack the waterproofs, 100%.
Yeah,
really good. Yeah, thanks we've got some more people joining us as well. Just another reminder, we'll do the winner announcement hopefully in about 10-15 minutes. So thanks for joining us. If you have just come on, I'm seeing the kind of numbers go up there. So great to see. Some newbies on here as well, and I suppose then just to round off Everest, I mean, obviously we've been there many times now. I know we've talked about favorite things. What's your favorite thing about Everest Base
Camp? Sometimes it changes depending on what mood I'm in, really.
I was going to say, what's it today then?
So today, I mean, there's so many positives that I took from it. Honestly, I think that if we're talking about the trek itself, because there is something else I'd like to say about it.
Okay.
But actually, if it's the trek itself, I think that, do you know what? It combines sort of everything that I love about life, and it's long enough that it really can sort of replenish. You sort of, if you're burnt out, if you're overworked, if you're stressed.
I see what you mean. What it did for your life.
What it did for my life is the one thing I want to talk about, because when I went there, it's 11 days of trekking, 11 days in a row where you completely disconnect. Every single day there's a different view. That view is of some of the biggest mountains in the world. Every single day you stay in a new place and you meet new people and you have conversations about stuff that really matters for the soul, what adventures have you been on, what are you doing next, how are you finding it? And you get a chance to help people, you get a chance to be helped by people, you get a chance to see amazing peaks, you get a chance to see the roof of the world, you get a chance to meet all the amazing locals that you'll come into contact with, and all the while the only job you have to do is put a rucksack on your back and go from A to B.
Exactly.
So it's simplistic but enriching and absolutely amazing. And someone commented here that Nepal and the Himalaya, they left a piece of their heart there. And if I had £1 for every time someone said that, I'd be a quadruple millionaire, because that's absolutely true. And I think that's one of the things. What I loved about it most is what stays with you.
Yeah.
Like, I've been there 4 times and I haven't done any other trek that many, and I think there's a reason for that. It's because I don't know. It's a little bit of a feeling of going home for some reason. Even
well, it's because it's the first as well. I mean, that's that's where our name come from. Everest trekking, Evertrek, because that was our first. But we had people coming back going, "Oh my God, I had a great time. What else do you do?" Which is why we've got a lot of trips around the world now. But yeah, some people are asking there around cost and things, and £10,000 plus. No, it's a bit cheaper than that. Sorry, frog in my throat again. I think Vicky there. Vicky is on the comments today. Our lovely dancing Yeti. Yeah, she's put it that it's just under 2,500 for a trip that we do to Everest Base Camp.
Yeah.
Or you might win it for free. We'll see. We do sometimes do runner-up prizes as well, so which we'll obviously cover off. But yeah, just around Everest Base Camp itself, you can see that it's just under 2,500. Vicky is on it with the links. Today, Vix. Awesome.
So what?
It's powerful though, Dave. That was deep.
Yeah. So I didn't mean to go that deep.
That's okay. That's what it's about.
That's how I'm feeling today. Today, I'm grateful for what the Himalayas has given me.
Exactly.
On another day, I might say I'm at a plan.
Is that what it is?
It kind of keeps you company for quite a few days on the trail. It's always there, and every day you wake up and you get a slightly different view because you're moving around it. And what about yourself? I know what your answer's going to be. Oh, did you say it already?
No, but I can always change it. I mean, sometimes, because what Dave means is that we were talking earlier, and I talk about the people and why I enjoy trips and that kind of stuff. But I think if I was going to put Everest Base Camp, what did I get out of it? I think it has to be about the locals and the area, like the country itself, Nepal. I've been lucky enough to travel a lot of Asia, but Nepal is so friendly and safe. Like everyone, it's like they treat you like God. It's mad. It's everyone's so nice, and also as well, they're very humble people. So they want you to have an awesome time. Yeah. But more than that as well, because they're so patient with you, and obviously English is very well spoken out there. It's quite easy to travel around. I really enjoy it. I think so. Nepal, I'd say, is probably one of my favorite bits about going to Everest Base Camp. Not just Kathmandu, because it's amazing. We spend a few days there, but just the mountain villages and just seeing how kind of Sherpa life is, and how harsh it can be, and going into those environments as well. It's adventure travel. Yeah. You go into places. It's a massive adventure for us. People live there, but it's still so remote. So I quite like that, getting away from stuff.
No, certainly, and that's one thing to remember. It is adventure travel. It's not as regimented as a trip to Disneyland, where
which is good, by the way.
Yeah, no, hey, one of the best holidays I've ever been on.
Yeah.
But I knew on the first day what I'd be doing on the 12th day, and I knew what time it would take place, and I knew that there was about a 0.01% chance that would change.
Yeah.
When you do adventure travel, whether it be to EBC, Kilimanjaro, Morocco, South America, you've got to expect that you're going into a region where weather, plays a big role.
It does.
And it might not even be, like storms or anything like that. It can just be cloud.
Yeah, it can be cold. Yeah.
A little bit of cloud in between where you are and where you need to go. So you might not even see the cloud. It might be a lovely clear day in A and B, but in 8.5, halfway there, it's cloudy. So you've got to be able to roll with the punches a bit.
Definitely.
What do you think, Ant? It's 5-1 now. Should we do a few cues?
Let's do a few cues, and then the announce. So I know everyone's hanging on. Sorry to keep you going again. Another 5 minutes, then we'll do the winner announcement, and then we'll do heaps of questions after that. Because generally, people still have some questions, especially if maybe they didn't win, but they still want to go.
Yeah.
Matthew should recommend the safari extension for EBC. Yes, definitely. Yeah. I've been down to Chitwan National Park. Absolutely amazing place. Very different. It's very flat, jungle. It's very, very beautiful place down there. So if you've got the time, 100% get it added. It's such a great. I know you're going to Kathmandu and then to the mountains, and it's good to see a bit more of the country as well if you have got the time.
Yeah.
The first time I went out to Nepal, I was quite lucky. I had about 3.5 weeks out there, so which I know is a lot of time off work and kind of stuff. But if you can get, maybe even 2.5 weeks, it does give you a bit more time to explore.
Yeah.
With the Everest Base Camp, you can squeeze it in, pretty much two weeks, with a day or so either side.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, let's meet at Snowdon. Oh yeah, I'd love to, Christian. We got it's like a big group of Ever trekkers who are booked on. It's kind of like a private weekend, unless you're on it. Of course, unfortunately, it's sold out this weekend. Sold out quite a long time ago, unfortunately. But yeah, love to. You never know. Maybe we'll bump into each other in the mountains. We're out and about over the weekend. So we'll hopefully see that.
Awesome. So Jonathan Daffed Watkins.
Love it. Great name.
And
I see the Welsh flag flying there.
It's spelled as Welsh as you can get it. How easy/difficult are the flights from the UK, included any visas, etc.? So we're going through the ones as they've been fed to us. I think you've asked a couple more after that, but I'm going to do this one. And I've just spotted another one.
I was going to say, yeah.
Okay, how easy, difficult it is depends largely on how easy or hard your training is.
Yeah.
So the harder you train, the easier the trek. I would always say that it is 11 days in a row where you're going to be doing a minimum of sort of 4.5 hours and a maximum of like 10, 12 hours. So if you're able to go out and do, say, 3 days of relatively strenuous trekking between 5 to 7 hours, and you can do 3 days in a row, I would say you're fit enough then to do the rest. It doesn't sort of get harder and harder each day. You just need to know that you've got consecutive days in your legs. That's it. So international flights are not included, but your internal flights are. You do need a visa for Nepal. You can get it on arrival, or you can book it. You can get it from the embassy beforehand. There is an online process that involves you sending your passport off physically as well. And then I think you said, do you have a good relationship with the companies at the summit? So to be honest, we don't need much of a relationship at all. We're sort of neighboring industries, not strictly the same. So, but that being said, 100%, we brush up alongside a lot of the companies that do take people to Everest and summit. But actually, beyond a sort of a mutual respect for our industries, there's not much crossover. Certainly, some of our guides have summited Everest and other 8,000 meter peaks and things like that. But beyond a mutual respect for each other, there's not really much interaction between us and any other companies that do it.
It's very different industries, I think. Yeah, definitely. And it's quite closed. Obviously you meet them. You're still doing the trek, because most of the people who climb Everest got to do the trek as well. Some of the high end ones, they fly in, chopper in, which is cheating in my mind. you gotta do the route, but hey. That's part of that industry now. But with the trek, you do see plenty of mountaineers on there. Yeah. Andrew Rooks, do you see Andrew in Kathmandu? Did he a few weeks ago?
Oh yes,
you just said
Sorry, there's so many things I can't even do it. Yeah, I know. I was in Nepal a little while ago. It was great to actually finally meet up.
With Andrew. Yeah, he said, hey, it was great to meet Dave in Kathmandu a few weeks ago.
I'm trying to find it now. So
he lost 6 kgs. Yeah. Wow, Andrew, honestly. Because of all the walking you do, and your body's working overdrive, burn a lot more calories at altitude. So it's not surprised you lost so much weight. I mean, remember the first time I went, I lost probably maybe a little bit more than that. It's not a bad dieting plan, is it?
Yeah, no. I mean, I'll be honest though. Anything I lose on the trek, I normally gain in Kathmandu. So 11 days to lose and probably 24 hours. To put it back on. Yeah.
With all because you missed the pizza and meat and stuff.
It's always a bit of a celebration when you get back to Kathmandu. You have a shower, you come downstairs, you're in the bar, you have a couple of celebratory beers, then you need pizza, and then before you know it, ice cream. And
it's crazy. Going on. Who was it the last? Alan, have you ever guys been to the Scottish mountains? Of course, love Scotland. Yeah, we do some winter skills courses up there. Dave actually he's half Scottish. Used to live in Scotland.
I did, in the north, time ago. In a town called Alness, sort of right up in the Highlands there. So this is like second home to me.
We do a lot of trekking and climbing up there. It's a great place.
I love. Glencoe Challenge,
middle of July.
Two, couple of weeks, something like that.
Lots of Ever trekkers going to be there. I saw that there was the Peaky Bimblers, big group there. I've seen you in Wave A. We're in Wave B, so we'll be so wave to us.
Yeah. Exactly.
As well, because we'll be miles behind. But no, really looking forward to it. It'll be my 4th time on this one.
Yeah.
It's mad.
It'll be my 4th time. Yeah. Well, not really.
You had injuries.
I had injuries.
Yeah,
the old
ACL replacement.
Did
Might have had something to do with it.
Did it once.
Yeah.
Went up a second time and was on
Base
literally root crutches.
Yeah.
So base camp support.
Yeah.
Just arrived at the midpoint with sandwiches.
It was good.
3rd time, halfway round, knee gave out.
Yeah.
4th time, I'm not sure what'll happen this
TBC.
time, but I'll try it.
TBC.
I'll try and time it so I fail the halfway.
No,
again.
you'll
That
be
was the
fine. You'll
best.
smash it. You'll be all part of the challenge. Mason, I'm booked on EBC November 26th. Can't wait. Awesome. Great to see. Adventures in the diary. That's what you got to get. Is it getting in a diary? You can work towards it.
Mhm.
Fantastic. Dave, I know we've answered a couple of questions.
Yeah, do you want to
Talked
do
a
it?
lot.
Yeah.
I think everyone's tense. They want to find out who's won.
I think they are thinking, right, shut up, boys, come on. Who's won?
They've had enough of the Welsh boys. Fine.
Excellent. Have we got the little winner announcement?
No, we are going to be. That's this little thing down here. That's going to be.
Did Zach not get something that we sort of
No.
play, like a 3, 2,
I know.
1?
You can tell him off after.
I just thought you did.
And something we do a little bit different is we're actually going to call the winner. So we have done it recently on certain competitions that we've done. I am just getting the numbers. So everyone who's entered. Now, thanks so much as well. There were so many entries. It was actually looking at it. It was 13,500 entries into this competition.
Yeah.
So thanks so much for sharing it. I've seen a lot of people sharing it on social media. It's been great, and thanks so much for getting involved. Obviously, there's one winner, but there are some runner-up prizes as well. So after this, if you aren't the chosen winner, do check your emails, and we'll be in touch after that. But obviously, completely separate to this, we hopefully it's a little bit of inspiration for your adventures. This is what we do. We run trekking trips. We only do trekking trips. We're a bit of a specialist in that way. So if you want to do any of our trips, me, Dave, rest of the Yeti team are here to help you, prepare for it and get ready.
How do you want to do this? Do you want me to lift this up, then call?
No, I'm gonna call first. Do you want me to do the
hello? You can call, and then I will bring up as they answer.
Let's do it that.
Okay.
So hopefully you guys, I'm gonna put it on loudspeaker.
So they'll see who it is. We may need to flip. It's already flipped.
No, I think we're good. So if you turn that around so I can see it.
Oh, so what?
There we go. I can close it down a bit. Here we go. Okay, awesome. Sorry, I have to remember the name.
Yeah.
But awesome. Right, so we're going to call now. So let's have a look and see what happens. Hopefully it's the right number. Oh, didn't dial out? Oh, no. This would be devastating. Let me double check.
Well, to be fair, there's only once they ever answered.
706. Let's go again. Oh, it's not dialing. Well, I'm going to check a number here just to see that we've got it right.
Yeah. In the meantime, I might try and answer one.
One question. Well, I just
answer one question.
Double check this number.
Who's gonna get the?
See, we're literally teasing people now.
Who's gonna get the question? How difficult is Mera Peak to EBC? Obviously, height. Anything else? Andy Platt. Mera Peak is significantly more difficult than reaching Everest Base Camp, largely because it's a very similar trek to Mera Peak Base Camp as it is to Everest Base Camp, and then you've got to climb up, what's it, 6,400, 500 meters?
6,500 meters.
Yeah, 6,500 meter peak. So obviously it's very significant altitude there.
Do you want me to try?
Yeah,
I might have the number. Let's see if this works.
It's feeling more positive.
This could be. It's ringing. Here we go.
And the winner is.
Hello. Is that Finley?
Hello, who's this?
Yeah, hi mate. It's Andy here from Evertrek. We're just live on the Tuesday tune-in about the Everest Base Camp trip.
Hello.
Yeah, just congratulations. Just wanted to let you know that you've won the trip to Everest Base Camp, mate.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey Finley, how's it going? Dave here, mate. Yeah, if you were to go on Facebook right now, you'll see me kind of awkwardly holding up a sign with your name on it. Yeah, you won. Congratulations.
Oh, okay, all right.
That's all right. No worries. Sorry, it seems like we caught you on the hop, mate. But not a random caller. Yeah, we're thanks for entering the Everest competition, and yeah, you've won.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, exactly, mate. So yeah, nice and easy now. One of the guys will get in touch with you, and yeah, all you got to do is go then. Easy.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Good man. Well, we'll be in touch, mate. But how do you feel?
Oh, right. I'm busy at work, but that's class. That's all good. Thank you.
That's all right. That's all right. No worries. Yeah, sorry to disturb you at work, and thanks for thanks for answering. Yeah, we'll be in touch after the live.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right, take it easy,
No
mate.
worries, take it easy, mate. Bye.
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 There you
He was
go.
excited, wasn't he?
Absolute winner, chicken dinner.
Whoa, God, sorry, I'm taking this off now. I'm getting
It
hot.
does get really hot in
It
you.
does get hot in here. I think it's the energy of someone winning,
Yeah.
right? That's what it is. I was literally gonna say, hey, you guys. See what I did?
Oh yeah, yeah.
See what I
You've got
did
the
there?
Goonies,
See what I
yeah,
did?
yeah. But that's my favourite Goonies t-shirt.
Why? Because of his hair.
Yeah, only on Andy's t-shirt does the skull have a little bit of a sort of a quiff.
Hey, Finley, and congratulations. Yeah, it's always tough, isn't it? You get a call, and I know he kind of sounded like a little bit less enthusiastic. But I was.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
he did answer his phone at work. It's hard in an office to stand up and go, yeah, but yeah, that's amazing.
Amazing. Well, look, thank you to everyone that has entered. Like I said, do keep an eye on your emails, especially after the live, and we'll be in touch.
Yeah,
because there are some special runner prizes. So yeah, good luck.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, we'll tackle some questions though, because there's a lot of questions. And I know a lot of people still on here. Do drop them in the comments. Obviously, we'll hopefully get to them. We've got Vicky who's kind of pinging them across to us on our WhatsApp group, and we've got them there so we can answer them.
Yeah.
Dave, any off the bat?
I've just noticed that Anuj is online.
Is he?
Anuj heads up our team in
is he
Nepal.
snuck in here? Is he?
Yeah. So namaste, brother. How's it going?
Namaste.
Hopefully you're good. Yeah, so I've got a little one here. So Jax Anderson, Jax has asked, if you go in May, can it coincide with actual Everest climbers? Is it busier during the trek? So yeah, 100%. If you go sort of anytime during April or May, you'll be sharing the trail with the summit teams. When you actually get to base camp, Trekkers base camp is closer, and the actual base camp with all the tents is a bit further down. It's kind of good to keep them separate, so we're not intermingling and sharing our coughs and colds for the people that got to go to the top. But yeah, 100%. Yeah, you can swap stories and get inspiration and talk to people who have climbed Everest, talk to people who are going to climb. The trails are a little bit busier.
Yeah.
So yeah, you do expect a little bit more traffic and yaks and things like that on the trail. But that being said, I've done it myself and seen base camp there, and yeah, it's an epic thing to witness. I actually saw people in the ice fall and stuff like that.
It's got a different energy, isn't it?
Yeah, amazing.
Definitely, it's really powerful, and especially when there are climbers there as well, and you can't help but be kind of be inspired by it.
Yeah,
it's really, really cool. And definitely you're meeting the climbers as well. I mean, because lots of our Ever trekkers, although we do the trekking, we do some of the trekking peaks in Nepal as well, like Mera Peak, Island Peak, we do Lorbuche Peak. So we do other peaks in the area that obviously a bit smaller than Everest, but good challenges in their own right.
Yeah.
Especially like Mera Peak, which is almost 6,500 meters. That's very high. Definitely, you mentioned about going to Everest Base Camp and then doing something like Mera Peak. Definitely more of a physical challenge, not technical in any way. But yeah, Mick Hamilton's on. Yeah. Mick, how are you doing? Long time no see.
He's an Island Peak alumni.
He is. Great to see you, Mick. I hope life is treating you well, mate. Keeping hydrated, hopefully.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Yeah, let's have a quick look at more cues. Okay, so Finley, not the winner, but Finley Burner said,
Finley,
what's your comment on fair wage for Nepalese workers that you work with, especially porters, etc.? Yeah, no, 100%. It's a very good question. And something that people should be aware of when they're actually using local companies is that you are making sure that you're doing things ethically, both for the environment and for the people. So yeah, 100% we do subscribe to that. Everyone that does any work for us gets a fair wage, but also we do like to factor in other things that perhaps are not so obvious that are equally as important. One of them is during the trek itself, our guides, our porters, they're human beings, and however strong they are, they can still get subject to sickness, injuries, including altitude sickness. So we cover their medical insurance, including evacuation down the mountain. A lot of times that if a porter gets sick due to altitude or any other reason and needs to descend, the best that they could perhaps hope for is that they would be able to, their company would rent them a horse, or they'd be carried, or they'd have to make a very difficult and walk. With us, we use the proper channels to get them evacuated, medical help and helicopters. Not only that, the team over there, they like to keep the team, so we have the same guides and a lot of the same porters that work for us. We have big celebrations at the end of the year. Also, we're very conscious of sort of social mobility, to one of a better phrase, which is that if you do start as a porter, if they stick with us, that we do channel them upwards through the ranks so they can become guides and have a fully fledged career.
And a lot of the guides as well, like they've come from that way. They start as a porter, and over the last 15, 20 years, they've obviously they've proven they wanted to progress, and especially from a language perspective as well, because some of the porters, from the local communities don't speak English. Obviously, the assistant guides and guides do, and they've had to learn new language, and there's things like that, about leading trips. And all of our guides are very experienced. And I think the big thing, because we had this question a couple of weeks ago, we were doing a talk in Ellis Brigham, which is one of our partners, and we got another one tomorrow in Manchester. I think there's a couple of tickets left for that. And we got one in London next week. I think that one's sold out. But the question was around that, how do you keep the guides, or how are they fairly paid, and that kind of stuff. It was about their wages, which is really a big and important question. And the biggie is that you find out by how much they want to work for you, because if they want to continue, if we got a very high level of guide and experience level, and the best ones always go to the people who clearly look after them the best. And we have done during COVID when trips weren't running, and we did some community fundraisers. Not only that, we sent cash to help them out during that time, and those little things go a long way, I think, with them. Certainly during those difficult times. But even now, we keep the best guides because they want to work for us. They enjoy working with us, which says it all for me. In terms of how do they feel. Because you're right, they could go and work for other companies if they weren't happy, but they don't. So that's a biggie for us. And we're all about one of our core values, doing the right thing here at Evertrek, and that's a biggie with us. We want to do the right thing by our overseas staff as well. Definitely. Yeah. Good question, though. What, Dave? Wondering about injections needed for EBC.
You 100% need some. There's nothing too remarkable. If you go to if you were to Google, for instance, Nomad Travel Clinic, Nepal vaccinations, it'll give you a complete list of ones that are considered mandatory and ones that are considered optional. I think there's 3 mandatory, which are the usual suspects, like diphtheria, cholera, typhoid, tetanus. The only other one that you might want to consider is rabies. Rabies is in the region, of Southeast Asia. It's a very low risk where we're going to be, especially when you're actually climbing. I've got it, because if I see a dog, he's getting pets. You
do like animals,
but actually it's not a high risk, so it's one of the ones that's actually considered optional. But certainly there are some, if you want to stay healthy, that you would perhaps consider.
Exactly. Jeff Woodward as well. I'm not sure if this one is around Diamox. I've heard some Trek leaders say Diamox is not a good idea for EBC. Some say it is. Obviously, there's lots of. Sorry, I know your question's quite in depth here, but definitely with Diamox. I used to be dead against it years ago when I first started going to altitude. I didn't want to take something that would mask the symptoms, but I've seen it literally hundreds of times change people's trips. Perfectly safe. Even my own family and friends who've had Diamox. So I'm a big. It's like a tool. Like, I'm not saying the best way to get rid of a headache is to take painkillers. Maybe there's something else causing it. Maybe you're dehydrated, whatever it is. But it's the same thing like that, in my opinion. It's a tool that you can use to help what's going on. And certainly, if you've got altitude issues, if it's really serious, that's different. And there's ways that our guides manage it, especially in Nepal. But they do carry Diamox. You can get it prescribed here in the UK. It's quite challenging sometimes. The GPs don't like to give it away. I don't know, some rules. You can go to travel clinic and get it. And there's many different opinions out there. I'd say from our opinion, especially from the trekking perspective, we think it's very safe to use it. Obviously, if you're worried about it at all, or you're taking other medication, do speak to your GP and see, if there's any, things that might cause any aggro with it. But in our experience, there's people actually who wouldn't have got to Everest Base Camp without it, and other places, and it's perfectly safe.
Yeah.
With it,
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I agree. Simon Knox has said, "What about insurance for EBC? Can you explain?"
Good question. Yeah.
So insurance is mandatory for our trips. You need to have insurance in order to trek to Everest Base Camp. Now the question is, you need to have the correct insurance.
Yeah.
So there are a few different providers, and we do have an article that I think the guys can put in the comments for you that you can read. Essentially, you need to be covered for helicopter evacuation insurance up to the maximum altitude you're going to reach during your trek. Generally speaking, that'll be around 5,500 to 6,000 meters. You're not going to go that high, but it means that you're more than covered. So no matter where you are on that trek, a helicopter will be covered to land and pick you up. That's vital. Now, it's not always needed. In fact, in the vast majority of cases, regardless of what has caused the trip to come to an end, most people are able to kind of walk down or make their way back down safely. However, if they're unable to walk, that could be due to a slip, trip, or fall, or it could be due to sickness. A helicopter is the quickest and safest way to get someone down to a hospital. There's lots of other things to consider, that are covered by these policies, but broadly speaking, that's why it's mandatory. We have to be able to get you down in the event that we need to get you to medical help immediately. Yeah,
because it is adventure travel, and things things can happen, so it's important to have it. Very rare that things happen, but unfortunately they can. Andrew Walpole, do you hold team meetup session before your EBC trips? People traveling alone. Andrew, really good question. I mean, actually, over half of everyone that books with us goes alone. Essentially, they book themselves onto a trip with other people. You do get kind of couples and groups of people going along, things like that, family. Yes, you're not the only one. We do have a couple of things we do. We do training weekends in the UK. Now, something great about that, obviously, we get to do some awesome trekking here in Wales. We got one in Snowdonia this weekend. But you also get to meet some Evertrekkers as well on there. Now, I'm not saying all of your people on your group might be there. You might be, because we do a lot of different groups in the year. But we also do as well, we've got our a mobile app where you can get to essentially, you can see sort of roughly who's on your group, and you can kind of message that way. Also, probably what most people do is that we've got a private Facebook group. You can go in there and you can post when you go in, and you can see who else is on. And some people are met that way. They even set up their own little group as well off the back of that for dates and things. And that's kind of managed by themselves, if you like. There's always ways to meet people. And something we found, though, when you arrive, you go to the hotel, you're always worried, aren't you? Who's on my group? Who's the clown? Who's the joker? who's the serious one? You're trying to work out the group, but it only takes one person to crack a joke and you're friends for life. It's really it's quite a nice part of the trips we do, meeting other people. It's great.
Awesome. Let's have a quick look. Katria has asked, could one wear a flying squirrel suit and get lucky if the wind is pointing in the right direction and fly to the top?
It's a good plan, actually.
I would say unlikely. Unless you had an oxygen tank hooked up, you'd probably be unconscious by the time you landed back down.
Is that what it is?
Because flying, okay. Let's just say you got caught at like Dingboche off the acclimatization hill there. That's only like 5,000 meters. You've got to go up another 3,800 at least to get to near the summit.
It's quite a lot.
It's going to take a while, so you're going to be unconscious as you go over the top. So even if you did, you probably wouldn't see the view. But fair. Let's have a quick what else?
I know, I'm just looking out. Stephen, I visited EBC from Tibet side. How is this trek different? Well, mate, I think personally it's because there's no roads in Nepal. I don't know why. Back to the Future, where we go when we don't need roads.
Yeah, no
roads.
Just helicopters.
Just helicopters. Yeah, that's true. But no. So in Tibet, obviously, you've got the road that goes. You could drive all the way to the kind of Everest Base Camp in Tibet. In Nepal, you have to walk there. So it takes kind of 8 days up, 3 days down is general itinerary. So there's a couple of big stops there. Like for instance, we stopped for about 3,300 meters for a couple of nights, and then we also stop at 4,300 meters for a couple of nights. That lets your body acclimatize. Now, obviously, when you're driving to somewhere like Tibet, and I've not been that side, but just from what we've heard, because we don't run trips in Tibet at the moment, maybe in the future, but we feel that there's so much good about trekking from the Nepal side. Plus, it's a lot. You never know. Sometimes, I mean, a lot of expeditions, they're in Tibet and it can get cancelled at short notice. Just the government will just revoke visas. Nepal is very different. It's they do rely on a lot of the tourism, so touch wood. It doesn't really happen like that.
I think there are some trips I would do on the north side.
Yeah,
I quite like the North Col trip.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
EBC. I think Advanced Base Camp's been 6,000 years.
It is. Yeah.
So pretty high, but awesome.
Yeah.
Andrew Works, would you consider K2 Base Camp trek? We would consider it. We have, and we sell it. So if you did want to book on to K2 Base Camp, 100%, we can put a link to that, and you guys can get involved.
Yeah, definitely. We had a couple of groups go in the summer. Midway last year, we got our first groups. Our first groups of the year coming up very, very soon. So the summer's a really good time to go to Karakoram and K2 Base Camp. It's definitely a lot more remoter than I'd say Everest Base Camp. Not as much infrastructure. You're literally traveling through glacial valleys. Vicky's posted the actual link to it there. That's K2 Base Camp. Definitely download the guide. You can get the full walkthrough of the trip there, so you know what it's kind of about. But it's really, I'd say, tougher than EBC. Just feedback we get from people who have done both. Because it is in a more remote place, it's a lot. It's a different kind of, definitely a different experience. Definitely more rugged. You're staying in camps in the way instead of villages, just because of where you are. But when you get to see K2 itself and Broad Peak and Nanga Parbat, you've got some amazing mountains there. The history of those mountains is just awesome, and obviously a very epic place.
Yeah.
Definitely. Andrew, check it out, mate. I think you'd love it.
Yeah.
Another 6 kgs, definitely off the back of that. And it's slightly longer than Everest Base Camp as well. But yeah, it's an epic trip, mate. Definitely.
Awesome.
Nice. Couple more questions then, Dave, and then I think we'll round it up, is it? I think we've...
Yeah, we are. So Kate, how's it going, Kate? Is that how long in advance should the vaccinations be done? To be honest,
Kate?
That's Kate from...
Kate.
Can we track to Calvert?
Of course, yeah. How you doing, Kate?
Yeah, I think normally I would get them at least a couple of months in advance. I think the best advice would be from the travel clinic. So anyone who is considering getting them, as soon as you booked your trip, I would start to think about getting them done, just so they're done. I think the only one that has real-time issues is sort of if you're having the rabies vaccinations, because you have to have 3 separate injections, and the first one has to be at least a certain amount of time before your trip, so you have time to have the second and the third, because that's how you get the full protection. But other than that, I think you can get them the others done at any time prior to your trip, but you may as well get them as soon as you can.
Yeah, good shout. Exactly, because there are some that you need over certain times. So I think generally, a couple of months out, probably going to be okay. If you can squeeze it in your kind of schedule, but there's no point getting it like I suppose you could do, but a year before you go. I kind of do a little bit closer. But yeah, good question. Okay, I hope all is well. I know we caught up in the Summit Zone a couple of months ago. But yeah, hope all is good, mate. Life's treating you well. What is it? What was it? Said Paul. Great guides on our EBC trip. Any vaccinations for Peru? Yeah, same again.
Yeah.
Similar kind of vaccinations, I'd say. There's no special ones that you need for Peru. Do check out the kind of NHS website though, if there are any kind of urgent warnings and things like that. But generally, just from what I've been to Peru, I didn't need any special ones, or I didn't from the other countries like in Nepal. I'd say if you go to Africa, it's slightly different because you obviously we're malarious. You need anti-malarials.
Yeah.
If you go into places like Kenya or you're traveling through Kenya, you've got yellow fever stuff as well. So yeah, if you're going straight to Tanzania, it's not a problem. But yeah, I remember going years ago to Tanzania. It's changed now, but you had to get yellow fever vaccinations.
Yeah.
It's just Kenya now. If you travel through there.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Awesome. I think that's pretty much wrapped. I think I'm going through, and I can't find.
I know. I hope we've answered everyone's questions.
Certainly, as I've said that now, there will be. But obviously, if you do have a question that you really, really wanted to know the answer to, this isn't your only opportunity.
Yes.
Even right now, as we speak, you could email into the team, and they're more than happy to give you your own one-to-one TTI experience
Exactly.
via email and answer any questions.
Yeah.
But no, been a great one today. And again, congratulations to Finlay.
I
One
know.
more time, just for posterity. Finlay McDonald.
Finlay, awesome. I bet he's more excited now. He's probably gone, holy, I can't wait. So we'll definitely get in touch with Finlay.
He's all good, mate. He's
Once
all
he's
good,
finished
you know.
work.
It's not about the reaction on the call. It's
No,
about,
I know.
It's about the reaction.
It's like a surprise.
It's about
isn't
the
it?
reaction when you land in Nepal.
That's true. But thanks for joining us today. It's been great. Don't forget, we do this every week. And as Dave said, reach out if you've got anything, any questions, anything at all. Obviously, you've got the chat on the website, or you can just drop us a message or book a call, whatever you'd like to do.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the competition, like I said, there will be some runner-up prizes afterwards. So we'll definitely get in touch.
Yep.
We'll catch you guys next week.
Awesome. Take it easy, guys. Have a good one.
See you guys. Bye.